The Brontë Parsonage Museum is the former parsonage in Haworth, which is the place where the famous Brontë family lived for most of their lives, and the place where Charlotte Brontë, Emily Brontë and Anne Brontë wrote their world-famous novels. The museum has the world's largest collection of Brontë material, manuscripts, personal possessions, and the rooms are left largely as they would have known them, with all the original furniture. The one thing that is quite different is that in the Brontes' time they had a privy in the backyard, and that did survive to the 1950s. But when the museum opened in 1928, it wasn't expected that there would need to be a toilet for visitors. I don't think anybody ever knew how long the museum would be here, how many visitors would come from across the world each year. But obviously today we know that not having access to visitor facilities is a huge barrier to access, and it completely undermined our status as a jewel in the crown of UK heritage.
It was always quite difficult, especially when we had a big group of people arrive or a school group arrive, because the first thing that most of them want to do, especially if they've come from far away, is use the toilets, and we didn't have any. The nearest ones were the public ones in the car park.
People would be quite annoyed with us that we didn't have any. They couldn't really understand why, in this day and age, they weren't there.
This became beyond a thing to make jokes about. This was actually quite serious. So when I understood that Bradford 2025 and Bradford Council were going to put a fund out to apply to make buildings more accessible in readiness for City of Culture, I knew that that fund was made for us and that we were, a perfect fit for it. There are a couple of things that are really special about the toilets. One of them is that the roof has got a sedum covering on it, so it's really great for biodiversity. But something that's really special, and I think will make a difference to a lot of people, is a changing places facility. That's a facility which is much larger. It has things in it like a changing bed for an adult, a hoist, and showering facilities. The response to the toilets has been absolutely phenomenally positive. From our staff, who no longer have to tell people there aren't any toilets and be on the receiving end of complaints or disappointment or sometimes even distress. And we have seen an increase in visitors this year. We've seen an uptick in the number of tickets we sell to disabled visitors. We've got a visitor book in the toilets called Your Views and Our Loos. That is full of compliments about how inclusive they are, how accessible they are, how clean they are, and what a difference it makes to a day out in the museum.
We still get quite excited about telling people, now we can say, yes, we do have a toilet, it's just behind the shop.
I think the reason people love the Brontes so much and why people come to the museum and want to see where they lived and wrote their novels is because they talk about things that we can relate to, love, life, loss. We know from our visitors book that some people come here on like a pilgrimage from all across the world, all of whom are going to have a better experience now the toilets are built.